The champagne flute trembled between my fingers, golden bubbles rising like tiny lies beneath the chandelier's glow. I stood at the edge of our anniversary celebration, the air thick with laughter and the chime of crystal, yet my chest felt hollow, as if something vital had been carved out and left bleeding on the polished floor. 18 years with Laura, and tonight, the way her smile stretched toward her from across the room cut deeper than any blade. I watched her tilt her head, auburn curls brushing her shoulder as she laughed at something Mark said. His hand lingered on her arm just a second too long. Jealousy wasn't what twisted my stomach. It was suspicion, heavy, undeniable, the kind that had been festering quietly for months. I forced a polite smile at a passing guest, raising my glass, but my gaze never left him. The clues had been there, hadn't they? Late nights at work. Her phone tilted away when messages lit the screen. That new perfume, sharp, unfamiliar, almost taunting. I convinced myself I was imagining it. That love sometimes demands a little blindness. But now, watching Mark's fingers graze her wrist again, I could no longer look away. My throat tightened. I took a sip of champagne, though the taste turned sour in my mouth. "James, you okay?" Her voice pulled me back. She stood beside me now, her green eyes searching mine, her smile too perfect, a mask I didn't recognize anymore. Her hand rested on my arm, warm, steady, and foreign. "Fine," I said, my tone calm despite the storm clawing inside. "Just taking it all in. 18 years, huh?" Her soft laugh failed to reach her eyes. "Feels like forever, doesn't it?" She lifted her glass, the one she'd poured for me earlier, insisting I try her special mix. The liquid shimmered oddly under the light, and a chill crept up my spine. Something about the way she watched me now, too focused, too patient, made my pulse quicken. "To us," she said, clinking her glass against mine. Her stare locked onto me, daring me to drink. I hesitated. The weight of her gaze pressed on my chest. Across the room, Mark leaned casually against the bar, but his eyes flickered toward us. "To us," I echoed. I raised a glass, but instead of drinking, I set it down beside me. Then, reaching for hers, I forced a smile. "Yours looks better. Let's switch." Her smile faltered, just for a breath, but enough to betray her. "Oh, no. Mine's nothing special," she said too quickly, her hand darting forward. But I'd already lifted her glass. "Cheers," I said, and drank deep, her eyes widened, breath catching in her throat. And in that instant, I knew. The champagne burned on its way down, not from alcohol, but something else. My vision wavered, edges dimming, sweat prickling across my skin. She'd done it. She'd poisoned me. "James!" Her voice sliced through the noise, sharp and panicked. She gripped my arm, nails digging deep. "Are you okay?" The room tilted, not from the drink, but from realization. I hadn't touched my own glass. I'd switched them. Whatever she'd slipped into mine was now coursing through her. The truth hit me like a hammer. I steadied myself against the table, trembling not from dizziness, but from the sheer weight of what had just happened. "Laura," I said, my voice low, shaken with fury and heartbreak. "What did you do?" Her face drained of color, lips parting but no sound coming out. Around us, the party went on, music and laughter swirling like a cruel joke. What was in my drink? I whispered. Tears welled in her eyes. "James, I didn't... Don't lie to me." My voice cracked, louder than I meant, drawing a few glances. I leaned in close, lowering it again. "You've been lying for months. With him." I nodded toward Mark, who had gone rigid, watching from across the room. Laura's trembling hands rose to her mouth, her gaze darting to the glass. I held it up between us. "No, James, you don't understand." "Then explain," I hissed. "Explain the late nights, the distance, the flinch when I touched you. Explain why you tried to poison me on our anniversary." Her knees buckled. She collapsed into a chair, hands shaking violently. The air thickened, heavy with roses and deceit. I didn't mean," she stammered, clutching her stomach, her face twisting in pain. Whatever she'd used was working fast. My anger warred with panic as I knelt beside her. What was it, Laura? Tell me. My voice broke, the rage bleeding into fear. It was just a sedative, she gasped through tears. To make you sleep so I could leave with him. Her gaze flicked toward Mark. The confession hit me like a body blow. My chest constricted. My breath came shallow. Leave, I whispered. After 18 years? I'm sorry, she sobbed. I didn't want to hurt you. I don't love you anymore. The words shattered me. Every syllable cut clean through. I rose unsteadily, staring down at her. The woman I'd built a life with, the woman I'd loved fiercely, completely. And now, a stranger who'd planned to drug me and vanish with another man. Mark took a tentative step forward, hands raised. James, let's talk. Stay back, I growled, fists clenched. The room spun again, not from any drug, but from betrayal. Laura gripped the edge of the table, her breathing shallow. Panic surged through me. What if it wasn't just a sedative? What if she'd misjudged the dose? I snatched my phone, fingers trembling as I dialed. My wife, she's been poisoned, I said into the receiver, my voice hollow. I didn't mention the swap. Not yet. By the time the paramedics arrived, the party had disintegrated into chaos. Guests whispered, their faces pale and horrified. Laura was lifted onto a stretcher, her glassy eyes finding mine. She looked pleading, terrified, but I felt nothing. No, that wasn't true. I felt everything. Rage, guilt, grief, all of it twisting together like barbed wire. Later, in the sterile haze of the hospital waiting room, I sat alone, the sharp scent of antiseptic stinging my nose. The doctor finally emerged. She's stable, he said. It was a mild sedative, not lethal. I stared down at my hands, the same hands that had switched the glasses, and wondered who I'd become. I'd wanted her to face what she'd done, to taste betrayal. But now all that was left was ruin, the wreckage of 2 lives, and the quiet realization that I'd crossed a line I could never return from. The doctor's voice broke my thoughts. She's asking for you. I stood, heart heavy, each step toward her room dragging like lead. As I reached the door, one truth echoed louder than the rest. The real revenge wasn't the switch at all.